History has a strange pattern. A ruler becomes too powerful, people stay silent, the system slowly turns unfair, anger begins to grow, and then everything explodes. You've already seen this happen before. In France, inequality became so extreme, ordinary people finally rose against the monarchy. Centuries later, during World War II, dictators with unchecked power pushed the entire world into destruction. Different countries, different times, same warning. Power becomes dangerous when nobody can stop it. And after centuries of revolutions, wars, protests, and suffering, humanity slowly began asking a new question. What kind of system can stop this from happening again? People no longer wanted kings with unlimited power or dictators controlling everything. They wanted something completely different. A system where ordinary citizens could finally have a voice. And slowly, one idea began spreading across the world: democracy. But the moment democracy appeared, another problem appeared too. How do we know if a country is truly democratic or only pretending to be? Imagine a country. People vote, elections happen, leaders are chosen, everything looks democratic. But behind the scenes, the military controls major decisions, powerful groups secretly influence everything, and elected leaders cannot make final decisions. Now think carefully. If elected leaders have no real authority, are the people truly ruling? No, because democracy is not about fake power. It is about real power. And that gives us the first rule of democracy. Final decision-making power must rest with elected leaders, not generals, not hidden groups, not unelected authorities. The people's representatives must actually govern, and history gives us a real example. Pakistan. For many years, Pakistan held elections, but military leaders like General Pervez Musharraf controlled major national decisions. So even though elections existed, real power often did not stay with elected leaders, and that weakened democracy. But humanity soon discovered another problem. Even if elected leaders had power, what if people had no real choice? Imagine another country. Elections happen regularly, campaign posters are everywhere, people stand in long queues to vote. Again, everything looks democratic. But then you notice something strange. Only one political party is allowed. Opposition leaders are silenced. Candidates are already decided. And somehow, the same rulers always keep winning. Now ask yourself, is voting meaningful? If the outcome is already controlled? Of course not, because democracy is not just about elections, it is about genuine choice. And that leads to the second rule. Elections must be free and fair. People must have real options, different parties must compete, leaders must be removable, and votes must truly matter. And once again, the real world shows us why this matters. China. China has elections at some levels, but national political power is controlled mainly by one party, the Chinese Communist Party. People cannot freely choose between multiple ruling parties, so the system lacks full political choice. And without real choice, democracy becomes incomplete. But humanity noticed something even deeper. What if elections are fair, yet some people matter more than others? Think about this carefully. What if rich people's votes counted more? What if some citizens were not allowed to vote? What if powerful groups received special treatment? Would that feel fair? No, because democracy is built on one revolutionary idea. Every citizen matters equally. Not just the rich, not just the powerful, everyone. And from this came the third rule of democracy. One person, one vote, one value. Whether someone is rich or poor, famous or ordinary, powerful or weak, their vote must carry equal value. That is political equality. Without equality, real democracy cannot exist. But humanity still had one final fear. Even if leaders were elected fairly, what if they became too powerful after winning? History had already shown what happens then, and so democracy created one last protection. Government power must have limits. Leaders must follow the constitution, laws, courts, and the rights of citizens. In a democracy, nobody is above the law, not even the government itself. And now, after all 4 tests, everything finally comes together. Democracy is not simply people voting, it is much bigger than that. Democracy is a form of government in which rulers are elected by the people. Elections are free and fair. Every adult citizen has equal voting rights, and government works within constitutional limits. This definition was not created randomly. It was built slowly, through centuries of human experience, mistakes, struggles, revolutions, and lessons. But even after democracy spread across the world, the debate never ended. Some people praised democracy, others criticized it. Imagine a classroom discussion. One student says, "Democracy is the best system." Another immediately replies, "No, democracy is slow and messy." Another says, "Countries need one strong leader instead." Soon the room fills with arguments, voices rise, opinions clash, and then you realize something important. Democracy allows disagreement. People can criticize leaders, people can question decisions, people can demand change, and honestly, that freedom can sometimes feel chaotic. Critics argue that democracy takes too long to make decisions, creates political conflict, causes instability at times, and sometimes allows bad leaders to win elections. And to be fair, some of these criticisms are not completely wrong. Democracy is not perfect. But then comes the biggest question of all. If democracy has problems, why do so many countries still choose it? Because despite its flaws, democracy has one extraordinary strength. It allows correction. It makes leaders accountable. It allows peaceful transfer of power. It protects dignity and equality. It gives citizens a voice. And most importantly, democracy allows society to correct its own mistakes. A dictator may never admit failure. But in a democracy, people can remove leaders, laws can change, governments can change, mistakes can be fixed. And that is one reason democracy survived, while many dictatorships collapsed. Now here's something even more interesting. Democracy is not only found in parliaments and elections. Its ideas also appear in everyday life. In families, people discuss decisions together. In classrooms, students express opinions freely. In society, citizens speak openly, which means democracy is not just a political system. It is also a way of thinking, a belief that people deserve dignity, equality, freedom, and a voice. And let's end with one powerful comparison: North Korea and South Korea. 2 countries, same history, same language, but completely different systems. In North Korea, power is controlled by one ruling family. No real opposition, no meaningful political choice. But in South Korea, leaders are elected by citizens. Multiple parties compete. Governments can change peacefully. And this comparison teaches us something powerful. Democracy is not just about having a government. It is about whether people truly have power. History began with rulers controlling people. Kings ruled, dictators ruled, empires ruled. Ordinary citizens had little voice. But slowly, through revolutions, struggles, wars, protests, and lessons, humanity reached one extraordinary idea. Power should belong to the people, not permanently to one ruler, not permanently to one family, not permanently to one group. And that idea changed the modern world forever. Because in a democracy, people are no longer just subjects, they become citizens. And citizens have the power to decide.